Walker, KO, Walker, KO, Walker, KO, Walker, KO. Boy, white black, bitch, tell me what
This was
let's do it. Man, they think they can see us, man. This that some shit, my niggas. They can't see us, man. Well, see my birds, you understand, nigga. Zone City, whatever.
Hey, I think I got something. Are you doing this?
No.
What's going on, YouTube? We're back in the Low Key Cave, Keyshawn Niles YouTube page, aka Mr. Low Key, aka the Low Key Horror Cave. Yes, it's October, and I'm definitely back with another retro horror movie review, and we're going back to, once again, my childhood with one of my favorite haunted house horror movies at the time. And of course, we got the 90s, and this was 1999's House on Haunted Hill. The premise behind this is this wealthy theme park owner, my bad y'all, but this wealthy theme park owner, Vincent Price, pretty much is throwing this extravagant party for his wife, which these two don't even like each other, pretty much at each other's necks, and he's just pretty much came up with this party he puts together at this old haunted asylum. The thing about it is, the people he invites, they ain't the people that he invited or the people that she invited. So now they're both at each other's necks. And the thing we see actually going on is that something supernatural has logged into this guy's computer and pretty much changed the names around that he had invited to this party. I really love this setup. Even from the opening credits, it's a very eerie feeling, and we get a very, very vicious and brutal opening scene in this asylum. And I was definitely engaged, man. I was definitely engaged. It's a very good cast. You got Taye Diggs, Ari Lauder, you know Ari Lauder from the Final Destination series, Famika Jensen, of course, from the X-Men movies. There's a couple more people in here, man. Of course, the guy playing Vincent Price, I know he done been in a couple things, but overall, I enjoyed this cast. I was engaged with these characters, man. Taye Diggs was probably my draw to this movie because at the time, you know, The Wood, he was in a lot of these black movies or whatever, so I wasn't expecting him to be in a horror film. And in the 90s, that was a thing for me. If I seen Jada Pinkett in Scream, I want to go see it. If I see Taye Diggs in House on Honey Hill, I want to go see it. I hate to say this, but if I see Busta Rhymes in a Halloween movie, I damn sure want to go see it for that time period. But I definitely enjoyed this, man. As far as haunted house movies, I wasn't really into them that much. Poltergeist, I probably watched a little bit, but I couldn't honestly give you too many names of haunted house movies that I enjoyed like that. I would say probably House, maybe, and I don't know if y'all remember House, but it's a pretty decent haunted house movie, you want to call it that. It's still, especially when you're dealing with supernatural elements and ghosts and ghouls or whatever. And this movie in particular has a lot of eerie images. Oh man, I love the setting of the house itself too, because it's definitely a character in itself too. Especially particular scenes that takes place in the basement, man. Very, very creepy and terrifying moments, man. A couple of decent jump scares, I would say, but the setting of the house itself is definitely one of the scariest forms that they go to as far as dealing with the story in itself too. Outside of the ghosts and the spirits or whatever, the house is definitely a character in itself too. It's got some pretty decent gore effects. I really enjoy Vincent Price when he shows up as far as the doctor or the ghost. Anytime he comes around, it's a very, very eerie feeling, man. And he shows up on the camera as his ghost figure, and it's like he do some Harlem Shake type of shit. It's not funny. At the time, it was very creepy. But rewatching it and everything, it still got this sense of dread somewhat. But he definitely was one of my favorite ghosts out of the movie as far as just that eerie and creepy feeling he gets every time he shows up. And the imagery, the costume designs, the practical effects for the ghost or whatever, it's scary. It was scary for that time, and it still has some effects today. And as far as the gore effects, in particular with this image I got up here of this guy who pretty much gets his whole face, I think, cut out or ate out or whatever, man, that shit was crazy when I first seen this, man. But overall, it's actually also kind of a good, somewhat, I would say, murder mystery, because it's certain things going on. It's got a it's got somewhat of a side plot dealing with Vincent Price and his wife that's going on outside of the supernatural elements that's actually interesting, especially when you get towards the end of the movie, when you get a couple of little surprises here and there. And I'm not going to spoil anything for people who haven't had a chance to watch this. And I know it came out in the 90s, but if you haven't had a chance to watch this, definitely give it a shot. Outside of it being a haunted house movie, once again, it has a couple little surprises sprinkled in here, especially towards the end, that's outside of even the supernatural element, that's just dealing with kind of this little mystery. But outside of that, man, once again, it's a very, very good horror movie for haunted house lovers. And outside of, I would say, the cast, just once again, the eerie imagery, the dreadful feeling you kind of get once these people all get into this house. But once again, once the mayhem starts to go on, it's really good. You have certain scenes where people are imagining certain things, and once again, it's that whole thing with dread, and it's once again finding out, or especially when you're dealing with this movie, when you got a whole bunch of group of people and you trying to figure out who's gonna survive, who's gonna make it, and this and the third. I got to say something. I don't want to give nothing away, but once again, for the 90s, having black people in horror movies, hey, Tay Diggs, and it wasn't a bad thing, you know. It wasn't like you was getting a character that you wanted to push into the end to make us glad he survived, like Busta Rhymes in Halloween H2O, where you could have killed this nigga. Get him out of here, man. Tyra Banks, you can get him out of here too. We ain't worried about Busta. But in all seriousness, as far as the 90s go, you had these certain horror movies that let some of the black people live. For instance, Demon Knight with Jada Pinkett, and it was some more. But this definitely comes to mind when you had a black person that survived the horror movie, and the one black person in the movie. That was the thing. He was the only black person in the movie. So I definitely had to bring that up. But overall, if you want to enjoy a good little haunted house horror movie with some very creepy imagery, some good gore actually in it throughout, definitely check out House on Haunted Hill. It's definitely a good one, and I definitely recommend it, man. Once again, a lot of creepy imagery, a very, very good opening scene to get you to let you know what you in for. It's a very good opening scene to let you know what definitely indicated what you in for, and definitely earns the R rating. But outside of that, if y'all enjoy haunted house movies, let me know if you had a chance to check out House on Haunted Hill. And if you do get a chance, definitely go back and rewatch it. It's definitely up to the standards of Halloween time when you want to watch these type of movies. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell, let you know upload new videos. Other than that, we out.